A doomsday scenario for Australian agriculture, a tiny parasite threatening to wipe out our honeybees.
They are mites. They attach themselves using their legs. They go into the brood cells, suck fat from the larvae, and then the mother lays eggs inside the brood cell. Then when the bee comes out, the mites come out as well.
Varroa mite on the march, with 215 locations infected.
The mite causes some problems in itself, but more importantly, the mite is an incubator of bee viruses. So the mite causes viruses to spread.
The speed of the spread alarming those in the industry. The latest sites include hives at Eurely in the New South Wales Riverina and in Euston on the Murray River, straddling the New South Wales-Victoria border. Aussie beekeepers fearing the worst.
Very much similar to when the 2,000 people got off the boat at Circular Quay when COVID was around, and they said, no worries, and they went out and pollinated everyone, and the same thing is going to happen here. They're destroying people's bees. I've got mates of mine that are crying and so upset about losing their bees, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Alarmingly, tens of thousands of beehives recently moved through infected sites while being used to pollinate crops. Huge numbers of bees now potentially infected.
Honeybees also provide pollination services, and if they die, growers will notice it and they will need more hives. That involves the apple, pear, cherry and the other fruit tree industries, and also, to a lesser extent, canola, and of course melons and zucchinis. The growers of pollination-dependent crops will have to pay more for hive fleas, most likely.
Authorities are scrambling to set up 10-kilometre eradication zones at infected locations. But it may be too late to stop Varroa mite.
Let's go now to honey producer Matt Blomfield. Matt, just how bad could this potentially be for beekeepers?
Well, it's absolutely devastating. Beekeepers will need to spend a huge amount of money to keep the parasite, at bay. The use of miticides and chemicals. It's going to get rid of some people out of there, unfortunately.
If this gets out of the control, what are the implications for all of us?
Oh, well, widespread. The big, issue I think that we're really facing is the increased costs of food. Right now, the feral bee colonies out there pollinate all of the food crops for free, or 70% of the food crops for free.
Are you talking about more expensive items in the supermarket?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Huge cost increase across the board for our food, unfortunately.
Matt, do we know how the Varroa mite got into Australia in the first place? I mean, does Australia need stronger biosecurity protections?
No, yeah, they need stronger biosecurity measures. Unfortunately, DPI are doing a good job in New South Wales, but this is now a federal issue. And, you asked how it got in. Well, early on, to be fair, it could have got in over on a boat, but it became more and more evident over the months and years that it was perhaps, people acting illegally and bringing in bees, and those bees had this deadly mite. So, there was an AFP raid, I think, just yesterday. So I think that really does tell everybody, how this got in, and the biosecurity measures that we now all need to implement.
Matt, if Varroa mite does spread nationally, is there a way that we can live with it?
Short answer is yes. Beekeeping will change. We're changing the way beekeeping is being done by actually keeping the bees, in situ and not moving them around, and implementing biosecurity measures to stop bees from moving it around.
Matt, appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Look, thanks very much to share this information with you all. Thanks again. Nice to meet you all.
That's actually terrifying.
Well, I think we often think about these issues as like remote agricultural issues that may or may not one day impact the rest of our lives. But it's pretty clear that the sort of supply chain process of this is going to hit us
pretty quickly.
Absolutely. You don't realise, but the bees are really, if we had no bees, we got no food. So it's...
Well put.
There we go.
And it's moving so fast, the Varroa Mite, being discovered in Newcastle last year, and it's already done in the Riverina region. Just how quickly can it move?
Yeah, because bees are sort of like the thing that allows plants to, like, have sex, you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's sort of like wine and oysters, but for flowers. That's
That's a great marketing campaign for the bee industry. We're like oysters and wine for flowers.